Close this up. Almost forgot this one too. Expandable battery. What's going on, everybody? I'm Average Joe, and welcome to another Average video. All right, today's Average video, we're going to be taking a look at an Opus Mega 3 Plus expansion battery. And this video is probably going to be real similar to all of my other test and review videos. Basically, what we're going to do first is go over all the specifications and features and stuff like that, and then we're going to get right into the testing. Alrighty, so let's get to it. Alrighty, so what we have here is the Opus Mega 3, and I think what we'll do first is we'll take a look at the power station, and then we'll take a look at the expandable battery. Alright, so first thing on the list is going to be the battery capacity. So it has 3,072 watt hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries inside. It also comes with a 3,600 watt pure sine wave inverter that can surge up to 7,000 watts. I'm going to call this our DC output area 1. This is going to be our DC output area 2, and this is going to be all of our AC outputs. And of course, you can turn on each one of these areas by the push of a button. Alrighty, so starting right up here on the top, we have a 12 volt, 30 amp Anderson style plug. We have 2 USB-C ports and 4 USB-A ports. Moving over to the DC output area 2. So you get 2 5521 barrel style ports right here, and then you get an accessory port or a cigarette lighter port, and the output over here is 12 volts up to 10 amps. Right below that in the center is going to be all of your AC outputs. So you're going to get 5 120 volt 20 amp outlets right here, and then right over here on the far right you're going to get a 30 amp RV style plug. And then finally up here is going to be our display. We have a power button and an IoT button. Alright, so to turn this bad boy on, you're going to hold the power button down for like 3 to 5 seconds. Boom, and now we're on. So we are sitting at 100% state of charge, and no, it didn't arrive at that. I just recharged it for this video. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start with the IoT button. That's going to be your Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. I already installed the app on my phone, by the way. So once one of these turns solid, that basically means we're connected to either Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. So right now we're connected with Wi-Fi. So other than that, there's really not a whole lot on the display other than the battery percent state of charge, and we have a little blue ring around the 100 right there. So I'm going to turn on some of the DC and AC outputs. All right, so I'm going to do DC 1. So now it shows our hours remaining. We got a USB-A and a C right over here, and then we have our output in watts. I'm going to turn on DC area 2. Now our car accessory port or a cigarette lighter port turned on, and then the 5521 barrel style plugs also turned on. And then finally we'll turn on the AC. Alright, we heard a little tiny click. Now it shows 60 hertz. We get a little tiny sine wave, and it also shows 119 volts. Alright, so you can change this to 50 or 60 hertz, and there is a button sequence to do that. Basically, you're going to hold the DC 1 and the power button for a couple of seconds. We'll go ahead and do that right now. In here you can see we're sitting at 60 hertz, and that's basically because I'm here in the United States, but you can also change this to 50 hertz for, well, wherever you're at. So you just hit the AC button and that'll change, and then if you want to save it to 50 hertz, you're going to hold down the power button and it should say success right over here. There we go, success, and then we'll hit the power button again or hold it down for a couple seconds, and now we're sitting on 50 hertz right over here. I'm going to change it back because I don't need 50 hertz. And there is another thing that you can do in here with the button sequence, and that is change it from slow charge to quick charge. And in order to do that, you're going to hit DC 1 over here and IoT at the same time. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. Alright, currently we're sitting at the low charge, and we hit the IoT button to change it to high if you want to go to high. I don't really want to at the current moment, but that's how you get to it. And if you want to get out of this menu again, just hold down the power button. There we go. Alright, so on the left-hand side, this is going to be where all of your AC and DC charging is, and if you have expandable batteries, you're also going to plug that in here. We also have 2 exhaust fans with some holes and all that kind of stuff. And just FYI, these are really hard to get open with your nail, so I would suggest using a pen or just a flathead screwdriver, and you're not going to break it because these are like a rubber material and they flex quite easily. Anyway, starting up here on the top is going to be your AC charging port. Again, you have a low and a high setting. I think low is around 800 or 900 watts, and high is up to 1800 watts. Right below that, we have your solar or DC charging port. This is an Anderson style plug, just like we have on the front. Voltage range is 12 to 150 volts DC, and you can charge up to 2100 watts or 15 amp max. And then right below that, we have two circuit breakers. The one on the left is going to be for your AC in, and the one on the right is going to be for your AC out. Up is on, and down is off. And then finally on the bottom is your expandable battery port. This one does open with your fingers just fine. So anyway, if you have an expandable battery, this is where you're going to plug it in right here. And these do close fairly easy. You've got your wheels on the bottom right down here, and these are nice and quiet and spin super easy or freely. On the back side, there is absolutely nothing other than the Oupes Mega 3 logo right there. On the right side, there is really nothing on here except for some venting right up here, and we do have our luggage style handle right down here. Push the button right here, it pops out. First solid detent is basically 13 inches, and then if we go all the way out, we're sitting at 21 inches. It's nice and solid. It doesn't want to go back in unless you push the button. There's the first detent, and then we push it all the way in. And then finally on the top, we get a cattail, two handles, and that's pretty much it. There's no wireless phone charging or anything like that. No secret compartments that I can find. And as you can see on the bottom, there's a sticker with all the specifications right here, and then we have 4 rubber feet for whenever we store it. Now you can use it in the upright position just like this. However, if you're going to store it for a longer amount of time, you're going to want to put it down on the rubber feet right here. Right, buddy? That's right. Okay, we're going to come back down, okay? Coming back down. And lastly is all the accessories that you get. So of course you're going to get your user manual, your AC charging cable. You're going to get MC4 to Anderson for your solar charging. You're going to get 7909 to Anderson connector. You're going to get a Anderson to Anderson extension cable. And then lastly, you're going to get your 12 volt accessory or cigarette lighter port to Anderson connector. This is for car charging right here. So you actually get quite a few accessories. All right, next I was going to show you the app real quick. So in order to connect with that, you have to install the app. There's a little QR code that you can scan in the manual right here, which I already did. You're going to hit the IoT button to turn on your Bluetooth or your Wi-Fi. And once that connects and you have your app installed, it'll show up right through here, and we can go ahead and click on that. Boom, there we go. Now we're connected. So I'm just going to do a quick little explanation. I'll go from left to right, top to bottom. So the top left is going to be your temperature of the unit. Right in the center is going to be your time remaining. So mine says 6 days and 12 hours. We're not doing anything, of course. And then on the right is going to be your percent state of charge. We're actually at 99% right now. Right below that's going to be your input and output in watts. Right below that's going to be your solar coming in, if we had solar coming in. Right below that's going to be however many batteries you have connected. And then right over here is your AC watts. If you go back up here to the output, you can actually click on that, and then it'll show you your AC and DC outputs. And you can actually turn those on, by the way. So we can turn on AC and then both DC areas right there. All right, and then one last thing, if you go up to the top right corner, that's your settings. In here, you can change whatever you want. You can rename it, you can share device, you can change your temperature, so you can do Celsius or Fahrenheit. And then right below that, you can do your auto timeouts. So you have unit timeout, screen timeout, and AC timeout. And then if you want to do firmware, you can do that through here. It's got a help center and then your specifications. And I guess if you want to unlink it, you can do that. And of course, we can't forget the Oupes Mega 2. That's the Mega 3. This is the Mega 2 expansion battery. So again, batteries are lithium iron phosphate inside, and it comes with 2048 watt hours. Everything else is real similar to the portable power station right over there. We get a 12 volt 30 amp Anderson style plug, just like on the power station right over there. 2 more USB-C ports that are the PD100s, and then we get 4 USB-A ports that are the Quick Charge 3.0. And then same thing over here, we get 2 12 volt 10 amp 5521 barrel style plugs, and then our accessory 12 volt accessory port or cigarette lighter port right there. And the screen is going to be basically the same thing. You hold the power button down for 3 to 5 seconds, and that's going to show up. Again, you're going to turn these on if you want to use them, and they'll show up pretty much the same as the power station right over there. If we go over to the left-hand side, this is going to be where you plug it in over to the power station. It's got the same type of door. This one is easy to do with your fingers. The lower one's going to go to the power station, and then the upper one is going to go to another expansion battery if you have one. On the back side, all it says is the Oupes Mega 2 Smart Extra Battery. And then on the right side is going to be the charging port. This is a Anderson style port, and again it's 12 volts to 150 volts DC, so you can do solar charging or car charging or really any sort of DC charging that you want. You just have the two handles to lift it, and then on the bottom, I don't think there's anything down there. Oh, we get the sticker with the specifications right there. And of course for the accessories, it's real similar. It came with its own user manual right here. It came with the cable that connects the expansion battery to the portable power station, and this one is nice and flexible. And then of course it also came with a few accessory wires. So this is the Anderson to Anderson extension cable. We have Anderson to MC4, and then we have Anderson to the 7909 cable right here. Alrighty, there you go. That's going to be a quick little overview of the two. How about we get to the testing? Alright, so now we're going to move on to the testing, and the first test we're going to do is a capacity test, and I typically do a 0.2C capacity test, or a 0.2C rate. How I come up with that number is basically taking the watt hours of the battery, so this is 3072, and I times that by 0.2, and if we do that, we get a total of 614 watts. All right, so in order for us to create a 614 watt load, I'm going to be using this power supply right over here plugged into the Oupes Mega 3, and we're going to recharge my big battery bank over there. So for the first test, we're just going to do the portable power station all by itself. Once that's done, I'll recharge it, and then we're going to add the expansion battery and basically do it all over again. Capacity test number 1 has started. We're drawing roughly 617 watts, and we should last around 4 hours. Oh, there it goes. All right, so it ran for 4 hours and 35 minutes, and we got 2.708 kilowatt hour. All right, if we do a quick calculation on that, we do 2708 divided by 3072 times 100, we get 88.15% efficient. That's our efficiency rating. It's not like amazing or anything like that, but it's not too bad compared to some of the other ones. All right, I'm gonna let this recharge, and then the next capacity test, what we'll do is we'll add the expansion battery and do it all over again. Alrighty, it is the very next morning, and we're gonna do capacity test number 2, and this one's gonna be kind of like a twofer. Twofer part is we have the expandable battery connected up here. However, we're going to try to max out the inverter. We're gonna try to run it at 3600 watts and see how long it lasts. So I've got kind of a hodgepodge of setup down here, and the best way that I can do it is run everything from the RV 30 amp plug right there, and then I've got 2 kilowatt hour meters right here because I can only run 15 amps out of each kilowatt hour meter. The one on the left is going to be repowering the Anker Solix, and then out of the other kilowatt hour meter I've got a charger right over here that's around 500 or 600 watts, and then right above I still have the power supply up there that's going to be recharging my battery banks right over here. And then we can add up both kilowatt hour meters for an efficiency rating, you know, running at full bore, maxed out with both batteries. All right, so right up here on the display, we're drawing a little over 3,400 watts. We're at 95% state of charge there. And then on the expandable battery, we're at 96%, okay? Power supply up here is 52.86 volts, and we're pushing out 16.8 amps. Over here, we're inputting 1,695 watts. 1,700, nice. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, I'm using my phone right now. We have been running for 32 minutes right now, and everything is still on. Right down here, we're at 52% state of charge. We got 37 minutes of runtime. We're still doing basically 3,400 watts. And right up here, we're at 64% state of charge. And what I was gonna do real quick is try to give you some temperature ranges and stuff like that, okay? So right over here, this is gonna be where the fans are at. So we're pushing 83 degrees, so nice and cool. The rest of the unit is like 76 degrees, okay? It looks hot, but that's just the screen. Yeah, so everything is nice and cool, by the way. And then for the expansion cable, it's basically 80 degrees. Okay, so everything is doing really, really good. Uh-oh, beeping some more. Okay, so let me just bring this down a little bit more. I'll go 14.5. Go to the amps. We'll try that. If it beeps some more, I'll lower it some more. Okay, look at our voltage now. 107. We're going down slowly. Ooh, damn. Might have to lower it some more. Okay, I'm just going to lower this down to 14. It's not ideal. We're at 3,000 watts right here. Voltage is at 105. All right, so we're at 0 down here and 1% right up here. Oh, okay, it just shut off. Damn, I wasn't even looking at that. I'll have to look at the video to see what it was. But this one we ran for 1 hour and 15 minutes, and we got 1.862 recharging the power station right over here. Let me look at the video real quick, and I'll just flash some stuff up on the screen and see what our efficiency rating and stuff like that is. But other than that, it ran basically full throttle all the way down to 0%. So that is fan-freaking-tastic. All right, so to recharge this, I'm gonna start recharging from the Anker Solix. So I just plugged it in there. I was gonna show you the app real quick. The internal temperature right now is 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So there you go. We're recharging at anywhere from 800 to 900 watts. This is on the low setting, of course. I think what I'll do real quick is I'll change it over to the fast setting, and we'll just take a look at that real quick. I'm gonna change it to high. We'll save it. All right, there we go. We're kind of bouncing around between 1600 and 1700 watts. All right, we just ran out of battery right over here, so I had to plug this back into the wall, and I lowered it to the slow charge. And one thing I wanted to mention real quick that I just noticed is it doesn't actually tell you how long it takes to recharge it. So then I opened up the app just to see what it would show me in here, and again, it doesn't actually say how long it takes to recharge it. So up here it says 4 days and 3 hours. That doesn't really tell me much. It's not going to take me 4 days and 3 hours to recharge it. I don't know, maybe I'm missing it somewhere that it tells me how long it takes to recharge it, but I have not been able to find it yet. Alrighty, we're back over here on the bench, and I have the portable power station plugged in and recharging roughly 900 watts, which is the low setting. I don't have the spare battery plugged in right now, and I want to leave this a little bit lower, so it's sitting at 55% state of charge right now. I want to get this one a lot higher than the spare battery so I can plug them in when they're so far out of balance and see what happens. In the meantime, we're going to do a whole bunch of random tests. I want to do some DC charging first. I'm not going to go all the way up to the 2100 watts. I would have to go outside and rewire a whole array, and I don't want to do that. So we're going to simulate some solar panels right in here. We're going to be using this power supply right here. I can go up to 60 volts at 20 amps. So I've got some MC4 connections on the output, and then we're going to be using the supplied cable that came with it. So it's got MC4 to Anderson. Once we're charging off of DC or my simulated solar, then we'll plug it in the wall and see what happens. All right, here we go. All right, highest I've seen was 824 watts. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is plug it into the wall, and we'll see if that goes up. All right, here we go. All right, so we're kind of bouncing around a little bit. The highest I've seen is around 1777 watts. All right, now what I'll do is I will plug this into the spare battery up here. All right, we're gonna plug it into the expandable battery and see what that one will do. It should do roughly the same. Turn that on, boom. It's definitely taking a second for this to start charging. We're only at 70 watts right now. 120. It's definitely taking its time. 260. I might just press pause until it gets up there. It's really, really slow. All right, so we just leveled off roughly 800 watts on the expandable battery all by itself, not plugged into anything whatsoever. And that might be all right because we're only at 56 volts and we can go all the way up to 150 volts. So There you go. All right, so what I want to try next is see what happens if we use the output of the expansion battery and plug that into the input of the portable power station with the Anderson, extension cable. Right up here to the output, and then we'll plug you in right down here. Boom. All right, well that didn't blow up or anything like that. All right, if we were able to do the full output capacity of this, which is 30 amps, that's 360 watts, can it do that? At least in this configuration, I don't know. All right, we kind of leveled off at 102 output up here and 105 on the input down there. Alrighty, well that seems to work. We got a little over 100 watts. All right, next thing we're gonna do is combine these two together and see what happens. So we're sitting at 58% state of charge up here and 75 down here. The book tells you to shut it off to connect the two, so we'll do that first, and then we'll turn it on and see what happens. Portable power station, and then expandable battery. Okay, here we go. All right, they both turned on. All right, well nothing's happening yet. We're still sitting at 75 down here and 58 up here. I'll let it sit for a couple minutes and see if it changes. A few minutes went by and we're still sitting at 75 down here and 58 right up here. So there's no movement, at least at this time. All right, so the next thing I want to do is unplug it and plug it back in while the system is on, even though the book tells you not to do that. Okay, we'll plug it back in. No change. Alrighty, future average Joe, I just had to pop in here real quick. As I was editing this video, there was something I realized I didn't test, and that is whether you can charge both of these at the same time while they are connected. I know a lot of other portable power stations out there that have the expandable battery. You can't do that. You basically have to charge everything from right here. Actually, you can't even turn on or use the DC ports up here, and these ones do turn on. So you can also use these while plugged into here. So basically what I'm going to test real quick is if we can charge both of these at the same time while they're plugged in. So I have another 500 to 600 watt charger right here that I'll plug into the expandable battery, and then I have the other power station right here that we'll plug into the portable power station. So let me get that connected and we will test that out. Plug this one into the portable power station down here. All right, boom. Plug you in right there, and boom, here we go. Okay, I know this takes a couple of minutes for the MPPT, to do its thing, so once it's kind of leveled out, I'll be right back if it goes up that high. This one down here just shut off, and it turned back on, so that might be this charger, I don't know. I could try this charger right here, but it's not going to put out very much, but I'll try it. All right, we're going up. Alrighty, so we were just doing roughly 800 watts down here on the power station, and then right up here we're doing 307 watts. So you can charge each one from two different sources. So technically you could do the 2100 watts on the power station and 2100 watts on the expandable battery at the exact same time. That is fan-freaking-tastic. Alrighty, next couple tests is going to be the UPS function. This claims to be able to switch up to 2200 watts in less than 20 milliseconds. So I have my little tiny O-scope right over here. I have a couple of heaters right over here, and then a 100 watt incandescent light bulb right over there. So whenever we pull it from the wall, we can see if the light bulb blinks or not. And then right after that, what we'll do is we'll just max it out to the 3600 watts or a little bit over that if we can, and we'll see how long it'll run. All right, so let me plug this into the wall. We'll do one heater, 755. Let me bring this one on. That's 1600 watts. All right, there's a little over 2000 watts. We're gonna go ahead and pull it from the wall right now. All right, we did see a little tiny blink over there, and now we actually jumped up to 2880 watts. All right, we're gonna plug it back into the wall. There's the switch. We're gonna do this a couple of times because I wanna get it on the O-scope. All right, here we go. I mean, there's a slight blink, but I mean, it's not bad. All right, plugging it back in. Little tiny blink. Unplug it. All right, there you go. All right, so the UPS function does work. Unplug it again. All right, there we go. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're drawing 2138 watts. We're going to just turn all of this on high. We're at 3086, and we're also going to plug in the heat gun in here as well. Here we go. That was 3900 watts, so that was basically an overload. Okay, that's fine. I figured that would happen. Do that again. We'll put that one on low. And that's 3056. It's 3700. I want to try to get it at the right spot. Oh, my battery died over here. All right, 2150. It's 28. 3600. Right at 36. We're at 3580. The sine wave still looks fairly good. I mean, there's a little prickly on there, but it's not too bad. We're at 3572, holding steady. All right, so I got the phone app. I'll put that up on the screen as well. So we're drawing 3572 to 73 watts. You can also click on the battery here. And I noticed this earlier, it doesn't show the input or output in watts on the expandable battery. I don't know if it's supposed to do that or not, but it shows the option right here. I don't really want to do that, but we're going to do it. I want to see if it can start up that same load. Okay, here we go. Back up to 3578. Nice. All right, next test we're going to do is the sliding compound miter saw and the air compressor. Those are sitting right down here. I'm going to leave them on the ground so I don't disturb this camera right here that's looking at the O-scope. All right, first thing we're going to do is the sliding compound miter saw. Obviously, I'm not cutting any wood because we're in my house. I just want that surge or inrush of current. Okay, here goes the saw. Nice. Did you see the O-scope? That was crazy. Let's do it again. All right, that's a thumbs up for the 10-inch sliding compound miter saw. Not many can do that. Oh, I gotta change this battery now. Hold on. All right, next thing we're gonna do is the air compressor. Here we go. That's no problem at all. There's a little scatter on the O-scope right there. All right, so now I'm going to turn on the air compressor and the saw. Here we go. There was a little bit of a bog down, but it did do it. All right, I guess what we're also going to do is we're going to put a heater on there and see what we can do with this thing. All right, that is 800 watts. Here goes the air compressor. At 2870, here goes the saw. All right, we overloaded it that time. But it did kind of do it. That was the air compressor and the heater starting up all by itself. 2800 watts. All right, I would say that did pretty good. So it can definitely do the 10-inch sliding compound miter saw and the air compressor. Not quite all three of these at the same time, but it kind of did it, but it kind of didn't. You wouldn't want to do that. But overall, I would say it did pretty good. All right, I'm also going to go ahead and test out all the other USB ports, the 5521 barrel port. So far, in the first port right here, we're sitting at 5.14 volts. And we'll go ahead and bring that up. All right, 1.95 amps. We dropped down to 4.32 volts. And I'll let this go for like 10 minutes. And I'll just do basically every single port the same way. We ran for almost 12 minutes. All right, next one is gonna be the Quick Charge 3.0, 2.26. All right, I'll let that run. So for this one, I can only go up to 150 watts. I can't go up to the full 30 amps. Oop. Otherwise I'll blow this up. So I can only go up to 12.2 amps right now on the Anderson output. But either way, I'll let it run for 10 minutes and see what we got. Alrighty, this one did just fine at 12 amps. or 150 watts. Move on to the next. The only one I don't really have anything to test is the USB-C other than like my phone, and it does my phone of course just fine, so yeah, I can't really test that. And for this area over here, we're doing 10 amps right now, and we've been running for, oh, exactly 10 minutes. The accessory port right here. All right, got this one up to 10 amps, and we're sitting at 12 volts. I'll let this run for 10 minutes, and I'll be right back. All right, 12 volt accessory port works just fine. We actually ran for 15 minutes. All right, I guess we're on to the next test. Alrighty, one of the last couple things that we're gonna do is we're going to drag it up and down the stairs to see how easy that is, because maybe you have stairs, and then of course we're going to see how easy it is to drag through the yard. All right, so if I didn't mention it earlier, this thing weighs roughly 83 pounds, and if you can't do that and you need to drag it up and down the stairs, what I would recommend is removing the bottom 2 feet right here, and that's just a Phillips head screwdriver. We'll go ahead and pull those out real quick. Oh, and that's a nice smooth surface there, perfect. The last one that I did going up and down the stairs, it had some other plastic pieces sticking out, and it kind of chewed up my stairs over there. This one should slide fairly easy, but we'll find out. Oh yeah, that's super easy. Okay, this slides nice and easy. Right outside, boom. This does pull really good on the concrete, real easy. Okay, alrighty, and then into the grass. Yeah, it pulls fine. I mean, my grass is really bumpy, but it pulls just fine. I really need a smoother yard. So it pulls through the grass just fine. Alrighty, since we're outside, I figured we might as well try to recharge from solar panels, so I grabbed 3 of my spare solar panels. However, the weather is pretty terrible right now. It is just completely cloudy. It just clouded up as soon as I brought this thing out here. So I don't know how much we're actually gonna get. All right, so what we have here are 3 Jinko solar panels. These are 270 watts each. The maximum power voltage, which is under load, will be 31.7 volts. Maximum power current will be 8.52 amps. Open circuit voltage is 38.8, so we have 3 here, so we're going to wire all 3 in series. All right, so we want to make sure we're under the 150 volts, so we're going to do 38.8 times 3, and that is 116.4 volts. So we're actually under the 150 volts. Since the conditions out here are super cloudy, I could probably add another one in series, but just in case the sun pops out, I don't want to go over that 150 volts. So we'll just leave it 3 in series. All right, so we're gonna check the open circuit voltage right now, and it looks like we're only doing 103.7 in this cloudy weather. All right, got the MC4 connectors connected to the solar panels, and the other end's connected to the Anderson connector right here, and we're gonna plug that right into the portable power station. Boom. Hopefully you can see this okay. All right, so now we're starting to charge. All right, the max I saw right now is a little over 420 watts. We're going to disconnect it from the power station, and we're going to connect it up to the expandable battery. Yes, I understand you're not supposed to do this under load, but I'm doing it anyway. All right, now we're going to try it in the expansion battery right here. So here we go. Boom. Now I am noticing now out here with solar, it's actually going up a lot quicker than inside with the power supply. So I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it's just my power supply. So there you go, that's good. Up to 200 watts. All right, so for the expansion battery, it did drop out for a couple of seconds, and now it's coming back. All right, so I just wanted to open up the app real quick just to show you what's happening. So we're charging from the expandable battery right now. We'll click on the expandable battery right here. Oh, look, there you go. Now we're inputting 82 watts, and that's what we're showing right up here as well. All right, so that does actually show input, but it doesn't show output, at least that I've seen quite yet. Okay, so now I'm gonna switch it back over to the portable power station, and we'll see what it does on the app. There we go. All right, so that's going up pretty quick, and it actually shows underneath the solar icon right there. Also for the input, yeah, this definitely goes a lot quicker out here with more voltage, so that's nice. We can click on the expandable battery. It doesn't show anything for input or output watts, but if you look right up here, it is circulating, so it technically is charging. I was thinking there was going to be something on the graph down here, but it's not showing anything other than the little blue line. All right, it's starting to get a little bit darker. I actually think it's going to rain, so I'm going to wrap this up out here. We'll drag it down the stairs and wrap this video up. Bring it back in. Let's see if we can go down the stairs. Yep. I mean, you got to do one stair at a time, but it does go or slide easily. But you don't want to let go because you're going to lose it. There we go. Nice and easy.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Yep, made it inside just in time. Ooh. Yeah, it literally started pouring down cats and dogs as soon as I got inside. Anyway, let's start wrapping this up because I'm sure this video is actually pretty long. So I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of detail here at the end. I'm just going to go over some quick pros and cons. We'll go over the price, and then that'll be pretty much it. I wrote all my pros and cons down right here. So first thing is the capacity test. The first one was a 0.2 C rate, which was roughly 615 watts. And we got 88.15% efficiency going from DC to AC, you know, using the inverter on the portable power station right down here. I wouldn't say that's awesome by any means like that, but it's not bad compared to a lot of the other portable power stations that I've tested. I've actually tested one and it was much worse than this. So I would say this is pretty average. The second capacity test was kind of like a twofer/threefer test. The twofer part was we were doing both of these at the same time, and then the threefer was technically using the 30 amp RV style port here. We were almost able to max that out, but since I was using my little kilowatt hour meters, you know, I can only run 15 amps through each one of those, so we were kind of running around 3,400 watts, and then towards the end, the voltage would drop down here a little bit, down, I think I saw 105 volts, so it actually raises the amps on the meters over there, so then I had to lower my power station output, you know, just a little bit. So that kind of dropped our wattage down to, I think it was like 3,000 or 3,075 watts. So it was almost, you know, full bore, full throttle the entire time, which did really, really good. And for that one, we got 81.89% efficient. Again, that's not great or anything like that, but it's not terrible running at full throttle. Again, I've tested other ones and they've come out into the 70s, like 77, 78%. So average, I would say. All right, so next we'll go over all my pros and cons, and these aren't in any particular order. Whenever I go over them, they're just some notes that I made, okay? So we'll go over the pros first, okay? Again, not in any particular order. First one is you can charge both of these at the exact same time whenever they are connected over here, or whenever the expansion battery is plugged in. I know other ones, you cannot do that. It basically disables the outputs right up here and the charging port. So that is fan-freaking-tastic. The next one is going to be the UPS function, and we were able to get real close to the 2,200 watt range of this, and we were able to switch over in less than 20 milliseconds. According to my little tiny O-scope that we were using in the video. Again, I don't even know if I'm using that thing correctly, but from what I could tell, we were under 20 milliseconds. Even judging by the light off to the side, it had a slight blink, but it wasn't too bad. So overall, that did really, really good. The next one's gonna be is it can start my 15 amp saw and the 14 amp air compressor. And technically, it can start both of those with an 800 watt heater attached. However, whenever I put the heater on high, it won't do it. But the main point is it can start the saw and the air compressor at the same time. So if you're using this, you know, at a construction site or whatever you want to do, you know, it'll start those things. The next one kind of goes back to the first one where you can run it full throttle all the way down to 0. There's been a few that I've tested that you can't run it at the full rated output for very long. Some of them will only let you run for like 10 minutes, but this one will run all the way down to 0. The next one is if you can't lift the 83 pounds of this portable power station and you need to go up and down the stairs, it does do that really, really easy as long as you remove those back 2 feet by the wheels, because the whole underside of this is really, really smooth. Again, other ones that I've tested, once you remove these feet, if it has feet, Some of the other ones have like little plastic fingers sticking out of the bottom, and that's what will chew up your stairs. This one does not have that because it is smooth. The next one is it comes with every single accessory cable, so you're able to use every single output and input that this has to offer. Again, some of the other ones that I've tested do not come with any of that stuff whatsoever. The next one's gonna be is you can have expandable batteries. Obviously we have one right here, and you can add up to 6 in total for 15.3 kilowatt hour worth of battery storage. And then the last one that I can think of right now is the solar or DC charging. You get a good range from 12 volts all the way up to 150 volts, and you can do 2100 watts. Again, you can do, I didn't test it, but I'm assuming you can do 2100 watts here and 2100 watts here for a total of 4200 watts charging at one time. Now on to the cons, and again, these aren't in any particular order. First one is going to be whenever we were doing the full throttle capacity test, the voltage down here on the inverter went down to 105 volts. I'm not sure why it would do that, but it did. The next one is going to be is I couldn't find anywhere on here where it says how long it's going to take to recharge it. Now I know on the manual and online it says that if you're just charging up the portable power station all by itself, you can recharge it in 1.5 hours. It would be nice if there was some sort of indicator on here or in the app. I couldn't find that. And speaking of the app, I wish there was a way that you could change the slow and fast charging inside the app instead of doing the combination buttons on the front. It is nice that you can do that, but it would be nice to do it in the app as well. The next one's gonna be for the expandable battery when we're outside and recharging it with solar. After a little bit of time, it did drop out to 0 for a couple of seconds, and then it started recharging again. I'm not sure why it would do that, but it did do that. The next couple are kind of like my personal cons, and it may or may not affect anybody at all. So first one is going to be it doesn't have any sort of wireless charging on either of the two. That would be really, really nice because it's just a nice flat surface on top. The next one is going to be it doesn't come with a little accessory bag or a pouch or something, you know, so you can keep all of your accessory cables in one place. You know, a little tiny bag that says Opus on it. Why doesn't it come with that? I think that's all I can come up with right now. So if anybody else has any pros or cons, definitely put those down in the comment section. All right, next thing we'll do is the price, at least at the time of this video. So the portable power station all by itself, no discounts or anything like that, is $2,249. However, they are getting ready for a camping season sale, and it's going to drop it down to $1,749, again, just for the power station alone.
But wait, there's more.
They actually gave me a 10% off discount code that I can pass along to you guys, and that is AVE10, and that'll drop this all the way down to $1,574. And if you want to add the expansion battery and get this as a kit, it's going to be $2,225 with all discounts. Alrighty, well that's pretty much all I got. If anybody's interested in the Opus Mega 3 or the Opus Mega 2 expansion battery, I'm going to have links down below. I'd love to hear all of your questions, comments, and concerns, and if this video was helpful in any way, don't forget to like that smash button on your way out, and I will see you on the next. Alright, so what we're looking at here is the Opus Mega 3. $2,249. $2,249. I did it again. Everybody's probably gonna want to see you. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Are you gonna let me work on this video or what? No? Yeah? Oh. Okay. Should we work on the video or what? Tell him. There we go. Alright, you ready to work on the video? I gotta change shirts. Oh, hello. Hello, buddy. Hello. All right, let's do it.